President Akufo-Addo ends Western Regional Tour, expressing confidence in the Ghanaian workforce. Good evening, it's news on GBC24 and GTV. I am Barbara Gacy.
And my name is Akbene Avo Ajaja. Robert Frimpomans is also here to do the sign language translation of the news.
President Akufo-Addo has expressed confidence in the Ghanaian workforce to turn around the fortunes of the country. The president made the observation after visiting the Atuabo gas processing plant, which is wholly manned by Ghanaians.
As part of his working tour of the Western region, President Akufo-Addo said the government will provide the right conditions to enable workers deliver.
The Ghana Gas Company provides the much-needed gas to power Ghana's thermal plants for electricity generation. The company has for the past few months been wholly managed by Ghanaians. It has also not recorded any incident, thus establishing the competence of Ghanaians to take charge of similar installations for the development of the country. President Akufo-Addo was conducted round the facility by the Chief Executive of Ghana Gas, Dr. Ben Asante. The president was happy about the success chalked up by the company. He praised the management and staff of Ghana Gas and entreated the CEO and his team to continue to work hard. He, however, decried the poor maintenance culture among Ghanaians and appealed to the company to put in place effective measures for the maintenance of the plant.
I am praying to God that with your leadership here and understanding of the issue, you will insist to Mr. Asante and to the others here that the maintenance of the plant is absolutely vital for the future prosperity of our country.
The Mainhin of the Extin Nzima traditional area, Awolai Amihia Panyele, appealed to government to ensure the security of the people with regards to safe jobs, spatial planning for effective land use, and also called for the completion of work on the proposed Atuabo free port. At Halfasine, the Mainhin of the Western Nzima traditional area, Awolai Ano Ejei, was unhappy about the inability of the assembly to approve a district chief executive to oversee the district's development. President Akufo-Addo announced the establishment of a fertilizer plant and a petrochemical plant in the Jomoro district.
We said Ghana Gas and the GMPs. One is a fertilizer plant, and one person on the year, one person on the Jomoro.
At Axim, the Minister for Fisheries, Madame Na Afulekwe, expressed concern about the continued use of unorthodox methods of fishing in the country's territorial waters. The Omanhene of the NCM traditional area, Awolai Ajavi Kwame, made a passionate appeal to the president to expedite action and ensure the availability of premixed fuel pump to facilitate fishing expedition. At Takwa, the acting president of the Wasafiase traditional area, Nana Aidoo Penyin, appealed to government to invest towards the revival of the Abosso glass and Bonsrat tire factories, as well as the need to give a facelift to some roads in the area. President Akufo-Addo said proposals have been received by some investors interested in the defunct Bonsrat tire factory, while efforts are underway to establish a gold refinery at Takwa. Ending illegal mining was key in his message.
There's one Mausaso said, Onyakupo enim na Ghana maubedi so Ghana for the Wajapadi and Yasha Saruba Shesuya, na Kayasase, a Kayensu, a Kayakua. May ends na ho, Emma May, Master Adia Mehu se Enyano, Ye Barba Twaso, May yes ada, and ne yes I that. Siababe say assassin, Siababe say yes you, Siababe Yakuano, makes a home man and banasa. It is not possible. But what is possible? And you see, she said, Papa, me found. Ama de enya wo hono ya no actually ama papa e wo hono ye ama no so aboa ye.
President Akufo-Addo and some members of the MPP laid wreaths at the tomb of the late George Alfred Grant at Axim and that of R.R. Blay at Isiama in the Lembele district.
The Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, has sworn into office the new governing board of the Bank of Ghana. The 13-member board is chaired by the Governor of the Central Bank, Dr. Ernest Aidoo Addison. The Vice President charged the new board to assist the bank to achieve price stability, growth of the financial sector, and bring down lending rates to propel economic growth.
The Bank of Ghana is charged with the mandate of seeing the overall performance of the financial sector, maintain macroeconomic stability, and put in place measures to stabilize the value of the cedi. It also acts as the banker and financial advisor to the government, ensures effective maintenance and management of Ghana's external financial services. These are the areas the new 13-member governing board is going to assist the bank to achieve. The board is chaired by the Governor of the Central Bank, Dr. Ernest Aidoo Addison, with his two deputies, Dr. Maxwell Opoku Afari and Dr. Johnson Esiama, as members. The others are Mr. Charles Edubuahin, Dr. Eugenia Ampofo, Mr. Kelly Gajepo, Dr. Kwame Owusu Nyantechi. The rest are Dr. Samoni Noy Ashon, Mr. Jude Kofi Bakno, Mr. Joseph Al-Hassan, Mr. Andrew Boydo, Dr. Maria Hagan, and Mrs. Comfort Okran. The Vice President, Dr. Muhammad Bawumia, said the economic success of the government is partly dependent on the policies by the Bank of Ghana. He charged them to fashion out the right policies to support the government in that direction.
The Bank of Ghana has been bringing the policy rates down, and as we stabilize the macro economy, bring about fiscal consolidation, better anchor inflationary expectations, then you will see stability in the currency and so on. Whilst we achieve that macroeconomic stability, we expect the decline in the policy rate to also be transmitted to lending rates in the country amongst the banks. We know that there are a lot of elements that go into the pricing of credit in this country. So I think this is going to be a major task for you to maintain macroeconomic stability at the end of the day, and also try to create the conditions which would allow the banks to bring interest rates down sustainably.
Mr. Andrew Boydo assured the Vice President of their readiness to support the government achieve economic objectives.
Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia says Ghana is committed to the ECOWAS integration process through the numerous interventions rolled out by government. The 24-hour border opening between Ghana and Togo, the removal of internal custom barriers, and the September 1 paperless port efficiency policy are some initiatives worthy of note. The Vice President was speaking during a courtesy call on him by a delegation from the ECOWAS Parliament, led by its Speaker, Mr. Mustafa Cisse Lo.
The ECOWAS Parliament is meeting in Accra to formalize a policy on standardizing educational systems and curricula with special reference to certificates in West Africa. Mr. Mustafa Cisse Lo was at the Flagstaff House to brief the presidency on the progress made so far and the future of education within the sub-region. Regional integration with much emphasis on trading and economic activities dominated their discussions. Colonial borders and self-imposed boundaries still exist within the bloc, challenging the 1975 objective on integration.
Donc, nous sommes venus ici tenir une réunion délocalisée.
You must be aware of the important role that ECOWAS has been playing since 1975, the free movement of persons and goods protocol, as well as with the trade liberalization scheme, which has been in place and which is crucial for the development of our sub-region. Because we do know that without these crucial areas, we cannot ensure the development of our country.
The Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, urged members to speed up the process of regional integration, which was crucial to development.
We are more willing to open up with countries outside ECOWAS than we are willing to open up amongst ourselves. And it is very, very important that we have, as respective governments, the political will to open up. We shouldn't have a fear to open up amongst ourselves. And I think if there is that political will, we will see that the integration project will move very, very quickly.
Dr. Bawumia commended the ECOWAS Parliament for initiating steps to harmonize all curricula in the sub-region.
We all know that human capital development is the key to growth. That has been established. And so if we can harmonize, it means that our market effectively becomes bigger. People can move easily between one country and the other, and the qualifications are accepted across because we have quality there. So it is very, very important the work this particular joint committee is doing, and we appreciate it very much.
The delegation included the Commissioner for Education of the ECOWAS Commission, Professor Hamidou Bole, and the third Deputy Speaker of the ECOWAS Parliament, Mr. Jefferson Kanmo.
The first batch of Muslims embarking on this year's pilgrimage to Mecca will leave for Saudi Arabia tomorrow. Just like last year, some pilgrims will fly directly from Tamale to Mecca. Earlier, our Northern Regional Correspondent, Mutala Isa, reported that all is set for tomorrow.
Have sprung up suddenly. There are food joints as well, and this is not just the end of it. They are still setting up more canopies. However, as we speak, the pilgrims themselves have not yet arrived at the village. We are expecting 5 flights of 600 pilgrims each, so a total of 3,000 pilgrims leaving the Tamale airport to Jeddah. That is for the Hajj 2017. Now, this number includes a number of people who paid last year but could not embark on the Hajj for some reasons. A bulk of the pilgrims who are moving from the Tamale airport are from the northern, upper east, upper west region. Buno Ahafo, I'm even told that there are pilgrims who are coming from the Ashanti region, who have moved all the way here to the northern region to get themselves to the Tamale airport and then move to Jeddah. I spoke with the Communication Director, A.R. Gomda, and he told me tomorrow is going to be an exercise with pageantry, with the Vice President in attendance, and the first flight is expected to take off tomorrow at the Tamale airport. As we speak, a while ago, there was the medical team here. They've come around, they've set up, and everything is in order. In the conference halls of the Tamale Sports Stadium, we have the departure formalities taking place over there. The immigration, customs, and other security agencies who have to go through the necessary procedure for pilgrims are all set up, and everything seems to be in order here.
Benasara batentin nama kache de nariba nam bize de bize zaha kunya la bzani zanchan del polo de zaha de kuya la bize.
What Hajj was just trying to tell us in Dagbani is that it is not as busy as they expected, but they are all looking up to tomorrow, where we are expected to have a grand ceremony here to finally bid farewell to the pilgrims.
Last year I didn't come to do any business, but this year I am here to do business, and I think it's going to go on very well.
Earlier in the morning when we came here, there was an issue with the allocation of space, and that nearly degenerated into fisticuffs. However, military as well as police personnel came around. That situation has been quelled, and everything is moving on smoothly. Last year, there was the issue of theft at the Hajj village. And this year, they are not taking things for granted at all. And as we speak, we have police as well as military presence here at the Tamale Sports Stadium. There are metal barricades that lead into the stadium.
And still in Tamale, district chief executives in the northern region have attended a conference which discussed marketing development strategy, identification of priority products, and the National Export Development Plan. The conference was in line with government's One District, One Factory policy, which has identified district assemblies as key stakeholders in the development drive.
The Ghana Export Promotion Council was established by NLCD 396 in 1969 to provide export trade information to exporters and prospective exporters. The Tamale Conference, which brought together district coordinating directors and businessmen and women, was aimed at educating stakeholders on the One District, One Factory policy implementation strategy. The Northern Regional Minister, Mr. Salifi Said, advised DCs to take the One District, One Factory serious so as to provide the needed jobs for their people.
It's a wake-up call to embrace this initiative so that our technocrats, that is the coordinating directors, you need to see how you can work closely with Department of Agriculture and that of the planning unit at our district levels so that we are able to prioritize the numerous agricultural products that we have so that we look at the viability of some of these crops that we can single-handedly pick, that when we package it and call on investors, by the end of the day, we can export it and it will generate income to the country.
The Deputy Chief Executive of the Ghana Export Promotion Council, Mr. Aidoo Shaibu, said export is a major component of the country's development plan.
Our vision is to operate regional offices that will have district representatives who will see to the full implementation of the One District, One Export product concept. We are looking forward to strengthening our presence in this region to be able to unearth the full potential of this region for the benefit of this country.
The Director of Research at the Ghana Export Promotion Authority, Mr. Maxwell Osei-Kubi, gave an overview of the conference.
One district, one exportable product. This concept is to discuss with the MMDCs, whilst they will in turn work with the assemblies, to choose a commercially viable export product, such that the product can be exported. Once they choose, at least we will be in a position to collaborate with them, with all the trade facilitation institutions, just to take precautionary measures when we embark on choosing and then implementing the program, such that people can produce quality products for it to become a competitive product for export.
A 7-month-old pregnant Nigerian woman who is standing trial for human trafficking has told an Accra Circuit Court she's being denied medical care. According to Ifimba, the police have refused to take her to hospital for antenatal care.
Ifi Imba and an accomplice Amanda Chioma were arrested in March 2017 for allegedly trafficking 6 Nigerian girls to Ghana for prostitution under the pretext of transiting them through to Dubai and Germany for work. The girls were, however, forced into prostitution to pay off a $2,000 debt owed to Miss Imba and her partner before they could gain their freedom. The prosecution told the court they are waiting for police officers from the Bachona District Command who effected the arrest of the accused persons to serve as witnesses since the victims had traveled back to Nigeria. Lawyer for the accused persons, Group Captain Obenin team, disagreed on why the police officers, other than the victims, were going to serve as witnesses in the case. The presiding judge, Mrs. Justice Abnao Pon Ajindoku, was unhappy with the police for denying the accused medical care and asked the police to ensure she and the unborn child are taken care of. The case has been adjourned to the 14th of August 2017.
Hello, good evening and welcome. Time now for some business update. I'm Dorothy Ajmai. The Governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, says a new capital requirement for banks will be backed by laws that will be enforced. He says most banks have not met the current stated capital of 180 million Ghana cedis, but are still in operation. He made the observation at the Ghana Economic Forum held in Accra.
In 2003, the minimum capital requirement for banks was 7 million Ghana cedis. This increased to 60 million Ghana cedis in 2008 and 120 million Ghana cedis in 2013. Although the central bank is yet to announce a new capital requirement for banks, the governor of the Bank of Ghana, Dr. Ernest Addison, says strict measures will be instituted to ensure that banks comply with the new requirements. Dr. Ernest Addison says the move will ensure that stronger and resilient banks operate in the financial landscape.
Let me assure you that whatever decision that we make on the new level of capitalization, it would be accompanied by procedures for enforcement. We are not just going to announce a minimum capital requirement which will not be enforced. This has been the practice in the past. New capital requirements are announced. Banks are given a 2-year period to meet the requirements, and they never really meet it.
He said banks will be strengthened to help address the issue of non-performing loans.
It's very clear, given the size of transactions that we are seeing in the economy, it's important that we strengthen the capacity of banks. Secondly, the issue of high non-performing loans in the banking system, that we want to ensure that we address the causes of the high non-performing loans. That is the only way in which we can guarantee that additional capital to the banks would lead to additional lending. Otherwise, if we are still going to be converting those new capital into non-performing loans, then we are not going to be achieving the objective.
The managing director of UMP, Mr. John Iwa, said government must build efficient and resilient banks. He was optimistic that the energy sector bond will reduce non-performing loans.
The payment of the energy sector legacy debt and government debt owed contractors and other service providers should significantly augment liquidity in the banking industry. This will subsequently lead to credit growth, and the lending rates will begin its proper alignment with movements in the policy rate.
The managing director of Barclays Bank, Madam Patience Achenu, said delay in announcing the new capital requirement has led to anxiety within the financial sector.
Over 50% of the country's budget goes into procurement of goods and services. At an internal audit forum, the senior minister, Mr. Yao Osafo-Maafo, said the country needs an efficient public financial management system to check the flaws in the procurement process.
The Auditor General's report for 2016 indicated that Ghana lost over 505 million Ghana cedis due to tax evasion, outstanding rents, among others. This figure has been cited as slightly above the amount needed to implement the free SHS by government. At the Internal Auditors Forum in Accra, the senior minister, Mr. Yao Osafo-Maafo, said without an efficient public financial management system, efforts to develop the nation will be eluded. He says losses incurred in the public sector can be controlled if they are monitored as done in the private sector.
We want the public service to accept and get determined to provide service to the private sector, for the private sector to flourish. We need a very vibrant working private sector, but we can't have it without a good public sector. You provide them the support to succeed. Certainly, when the private sector expands, the public sector will expand, because your services have to be decentralized. There may be the need to take the Registrar General even to the districts because of volume of work.
A deputy chairperson of the National Development Planning Commission, Dr. Esther Ofei Abuaje, advised public office holders to prevent wastage and financial losses in their line of duty. The Minister for National Security, Mr. Albert Kandapa, said the country lacks the appropriate mechanisms to check corruption in the public sector.
When citizens provide money to the government, which money is then given to public officials to provide us with public goods and services, there arises an accountability relationship between government and the citizens. Politicians and public servants who are entrusted with public resources must be answerable for the fiscal and social responsibilities to the people who provided the resources and who assigned the responsibilities to them.
The president of the Internal Auditors Association, Mr. Ernest Wiafi, at the Ministry of Energy, spoke about the challenges facing auditors in the country.
We write reports, and the person who you are reporting to is the same person you are writing things about. So if you look at the risks that we face and the remuneration that we get, it's nothing to write home about. It's so sad, and I've been fighting this cause for 10 years now.
The forum was on the theme, Safeguarding National Resources Through Effective Public Financial Management.
Enterprise Group Limited has partnered Black Star Holdings Limited to support the group's agenda of executing strategy and progressing major initiatives beyond 2019 in Ghana and West Africa. Black Star Holdings Limited is committed to raising an amount of $50 million as new capital for the group's growth. At the 7th Annual General Meeting, the Chief Executive, Mr. Kelly Gajakpo, said the partnership is a step in the right direction.
Its original entity was Enterprise Insurance Company, established in 1924 and the oldest insurance company in Ghana. It was listed on the Ghana Stock Exchange GSE in 1991 as the first insurance company to be publicly listed in Ghana. Following a restructuring of the group in 2010, Enterprise Group was incorporated on 24th November 2008 to become the holding company and was listed on JSE in place of Enterprise Insurance, which was subsequently delisted. Enterprise Group currently has 5 operating subsidiaries, namely Enterprise Insurance, Enterprise Life, Enterprise Trustees, Enterprise Properties and Transitions. The chairman of the Enterprise Group Limited, Mr. Trevor Trevgani, said the business operating environment in 2016 was better than anticipated, and this places the group in a strong position to benefit from the improving economic situation in 2017.
We believe that many of the detailed initiatives supporting the 2017 budget have the potential to revive confidence, the absence of which has resulted in Ghana's economic performance being far below potential over the last couple of years. However, much will depend on effective implementation of these initiatives. We remain positive about Ghana's future and overall government policy direction, helping in building a sound economy within which Ghanaians and enterprise can prosper.
The difficulty experienced in the operating environment since 2015 means that Enterprise has not met the ambitious growth objectives it set for itself for income growth. This is because many of the initiatives on new business entries have been slower to get off the ground. The group's business performance in 2016 delivered a net income growth of 20.4%. Enterprise Group's new partner is called Black Star Holdings Limited, BSHL. BSHL is owned by Leapfrog Strategic African Investment. The Chief Executive Officer of Enterprise Group Limited, Mr. Kelly Gajakpo, explained the 6 cedis entitlement as the issue of price per share, which some shareholders did not agree with.
We have not pegged a strict price yet, but we have what we call an intrinsic. In other words, some event has made it so that you can equate the price that you could get, but the firm price to be used for the rights issue will be communicated in the information memorandum, which has not yet been issued. So it's an ongoing process. To be fair, it will take us about 2 to 3 months to organize ourselves by way of approvals. We will take all things into account, but we are hopeful that by the time we put in an application, the Securities Exchange Commission will be in full gear.
Enterprise Group Limited say, with a group net income of 420 million Ghana cedis, the year 2017 has started well, with an additional support of $50 million US capital, which gives the group great confidence for the future.
The Ministry of Aviation is engaging partners in the aviation industry on strategies to revamp the local airlines to meet international standards. The meeting was also to share ideas on how to address some of the challenges in the industry.
That the forum included improving the local airlines to meet international standards, measures to be instituted to make Ghana an aviation hub in Africa to boost tourism. The Minister for Aviation, Madame Cecilia Dapa, said globally about 3.8 billion people use their air transport and 54.9 million tons of goods were delivered as air cargo. This indicates that air travelers spent about $650 billion on transport in 2016.
Prevailing data from the Ghana Air Force Company Limited indicates that in Ghana, Europe remains the most popular destination for travelers. Statistics show that the economic European routes commanded 37.6% of the outbound traffic as at the end of the first quarter of this year. This was closely followed by West Africa with 20.3% of outbound international traffic. The rest of the market is shared by East Africa, 14.5%, Middle East, 9.9%, North America, 6.5%, and Southern Africa, 5.5%. The West African region, with a population of more than 350 million, most of whom are under 30 years, represents one of the biggest markets on the continent for air travel. In addition, the strength of the major economies in the region and the demography of the population shows that there is a huge potential for the growth of aviation in the sub-region.
The Chief Executive of Starboard, Mr. James Eric Entry, was optimistic that with the needed support, the aviation industry will meet the expectation.
The major one is infrastructure that we have in the country. The aviation infrastructure, all the various airfields and the navigational facilities that we have. Now, Hamatan just at the corner. We don't have any issues again because going to Kumasi and Hamatan, Tamale Hamatan, and other places is a bit of a nightmare because we keep on disappointing our passengers. To have proper navigation systems, modern ones at various airfields so that we can land during Hamatan. And that affects our business so much that when it happens, they just lose confidence and they don't come back again. This is one of our major concerns. Another concern is what you call the fifth freedom. They're talking about the fifth freedom. Well, it is there. They have signed all the accords. Now what is happening is that Ghana is very easy for them to come to this country here, Ghana. It's a small country. But then the other countries find it very easy to come here. Us going anywhere outside, Nigeria, whatever it is, believe me, it's a hell. They've just signed the agreement, everything is agreed, they don't stick to it. They will put a lot of impediments in a way. And also, Ghana is a small country, Nigeria is big. If you allow all the airlines to come to Ghana, the Ghanaian aviation, the domestic operators or Ghanaian operators, how would they fare? They cannot compete with them. And can we talk about all these big airlines who come into Ghana here to fly, take passengers from here to various destinations in West Africa? I think it's
business segment of the news. Moving on the Interbank Market, the dollar is trading at 4 cedis 37 pesos and the pound at 5 cedis 70 pesos. The euro is also selling at 5 cedis 14 pesos. Up next are the figures. On the commodities market, light crude is selling at $49.16 per barrel, with cocoa selling at $2,018 per ton. Gold is also going for $1,268 an ounce. And that's it for the business segment. Coming up is the health segment. Please do stay.
Time now for some health news. Cervical cancer continues to be one of the leading causes of death in women globally. It mainly affects women between the ages of 15 and 44. Like all cancers, cervical cancer can be treated if detected early. In an interview with a gynecologist at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital Ridge, Dr. Emmanuel Sepenyo, he said at least one screening every 2 to 3 years will help detect the disease on time for early treatment.
Health statistics indicate that every year over 3,000 women are diagnosed with cervical cancer and over 1,500 die from the disease. Statistics from the Ghana Health Service indicates that Ghana's population of 8.57 million women aged 15 years and older are at risk of developing cervical cancer. The cancer occurs when the cells at the opening of the womb grows abnormally. It takes about 10 years for the disease to be visible. One of the most common symptoms of cervical cancer is abnormal vaginal bleeding, but in some cases, there may be no obvious symptoms until the cancer has progressed to an advanced stage. The virus which causes the disease is the human papilloma virus, HPV, and can be attributed to poor personal hygiene, early sexual intercourse, and multiple sexual partners, among others.
If you are there and you begin to have some offensive discharge continuously, it is a sign for which you have to report to the hospital to be checked. Or if you bleed during sexual intercourse, because during sexual intercourse you shouldn't see blood, but if you see blood during sexual intercourse, or you are there, you begin to have irregular bleeding, unprovoked bleeding, all these are reasons for which you should seek medical attention. By no means, I am not saying that once you have an offensive discharge, you have cancer of the cervix. Neither am I saying that once you see blood during sexual intercourse, you have cancer of the cervix. That is not what I'm saying. These are just some of the signs and symptoms that means that you need further assessment by an expert. So once the expert assesses you and says everything is fine, then you are fine.
Screening of cervical cancer is either by pap smear or the use of visual inspection of the cervix with acetic acid, VIA. A gynecologist at the Greater Accra Regional Hospital Ridge, Dr. Emmanuel Sepenyo, said a number of women are believed to shy away from getting screened as a result of the cost, since it is not covered under the National Health Insurance Scheme. He said the screening is not painful as people think.
The VIA involves application of a certain reagent to the cervix, and on the spot, the nurse or the midwife who have been trained to do it will examine the cervix under special light and tell you whether your cervix is normal or abnormal. So within 5 minutes of the test, your report is immediately ready. We call that the visual inspection of the cervix with acetic acid. The reagent that is used is the ordinary acetic acid or vinegar, which is off-market brand. That is what we use. And it's very cheap, far cheaper than the pap smear. And then we encourage usually ladies between the age of 18 to 45. Normally, it's as effective in detecting the cancer as the pap smear.
Dr. Sepenyo said the disease is a great challenge to the health of women in Ghana, and husbands must help break this silent killer.
We say that all cancers, provided they are detected early, can be cured. But the problem with cancer of the cervix is where it is located. It is located in an aspect of a woman that is not easily accessible. And so for most times, by the time the woman knows that she has cancer of the cervix, it is advanced. We should begin to expand the screening program and make sure that as many women as possible are screened for the condition.
According to Dr. Sepenyo, the Ghana Health Service is looking out for some vaccines as it is being done elsewhere to protect the younger generations against the virus.
And that was health. Coming up shortly is the international segment.
And so good evening, let's talk sports. I'm Theophilus Sampa. The 2017 Ghana Open Taekwondo Championship has been launched in Accra. The championship has been slated for the 18th and the 19th of August this year. From the 18th to the 19th of August this year, the attention of the world will be on Ghana as she hosts her first international World Taekwondo Championship in Accra. 12 countries, including the USA, Italy, Turkey, Malawi, Rwanda, Togo, Benin, Morocco, Senegal, Burkina Faso, Ivory Coast, and Ghana have confirmed their participation. Launching the event in Accra, the president of the Ghana Taekwondo Federation, Mr. Frederick Latutu, highlighted the importance of staging the World Championships.
The Ghana Open International Championship is a World Taekwondo Sanctioned Championship and a ranking championship. So every athlete that will participate in this championship would earn a point by the World Taekwondo. We saw it as an opportunity for our Ghanaian athletes to earn world ranking points, so that when they also participate in other World Taekwondo sanctioned events, they could be seeded.
The president of the Ghana Olympic Committee, Mr. Benunu Mensah, praised the association for their efforts in winning the bid to host the international competition in Ghana.
Taekwondo is one of the sports that eventually this country will be winning medals all over the world, not only in Africa as we're currently doing. So Mr. Otu and your team, your board members, let me say a big congratulations to you. Thank you very much for keeping the sports alive. Even when in the past there was no support coming, I know Mr. Otu and his team had on their own carry the federation and make sure that they did well.
The Director General of the National Sports Authority, Mr. Robert Safo Mensah, promised his outfaced support for the development of all sports in the country.
With this kind of hosting, it's going to put Ghana once again on the international platform. We believe that from 18th to 19th, both local and international media will be focusing on Ghana. And that is another added advantage for our tourism development as well as sports development.
There was a tour of the refurbished sports hall of the Accra Sports Stadium, the venue for the event, as well as an inspection of the newly acquired equipment for the championships. Real Madrid are winners of the 2017 UEFA Super Cup. They dispatched English side Manchester United by 2-1. That's all for sports.
Good evening. This segment is brought to you by Cowbell. My name is Valerie Danso. Veteran actor William Aidoo is back on his feet after a long illness. Having been in the Ghanaian movie industry for over 40 years, he promises to show up soon on our screens. He starred in movies like Love and Politics, Nightmare, among others.
Let's go in. I don't want to sit down. I prefer talking here. Oh, this is indeed a surprise visit. Yes.
William Aidoo, a.k.a. Akpache, obtained a degree in drama and theatre studies at the University of Ghana and thereafter proceeded to University of Leeds in the UK, where he was awarded the MA degree in theatre studies, majoring in acting and directing. In a chat with Mr. Aidoo, even though he's a great actor, he likes to be himself in every movie.
I always see every movie as a beginning, that I see too many mistakes that I could have done something else better, but that has been me. So, depending on the storyline and the other actors that are moving, that's where I draw this inspiration. Because I always want to be original. I don't want copying things, and so I don't do the same thing twice.
He said the current state of the Ghanaian movie industry is taking attention off the rich Ghanaian culture, confusing most Ghanaians about our cultural roots.
Unless particular attention is given to this industry by government, because you see, the revenue, this thing that we can derive from it is so enormous you have no idea. But, you know, we have left ours in the hands of producers and people who, businessmen, who are only after their, this thing. So, until this thing is taken good care of and proper structures are put in place, we will continue to be wallowing like this and things like that. The telenovelas, this thing, honestly, I'm not in favor, but I don't want to state that no, it should be taken up. But, you know, more of our own should be put there.
William Aidoo will soon be back to thrill his audience with his splendid acting skills. He was the research assistant at the School of Performing Arts, University of Ghana, from 1980 to 1985 and rose to the position of senior research assistant in 1985 to 1991. That's all in the segment. It was brought to you by Cowbell. Have a good evening.
And that's all in the package of news. Until we bring you the late edition at 10 p.m., enjoy the rest of the evening.
Good evening.